This alien is literally so strong that the mere mention of his name sends shivers down the spines of mere mortals. He is... There have been a ton of alien DNA samples in Benton's Omnitrix, and we see a handful of them throughout the 5 iterations of the show. What if I told you there were more aliens that were outright banned from ever airing? Ladies and jellyfish, welcome back to Radscare. Listen, I'm not gonna waste any time. You guys probably know me by now. If not, just watch a few minutes of this video and consider subscribing if you get a kick out of this. I've taken a look at the unseen non-canon Benton aliens, as well as the fan-made banned aliens 5 times on the channel now. Today I thought it might be nice to re-edit them a bit and create an epic compilation that brings all these guys together. And you're gonna want to watch till the end of this video, because we're gonna go through countless aliens drawn by multiple artists, both banned and rejected, including the Ben 10,000 roster. I've also edited a transformation sequence after every roster, so you can enjoy that. With all that said, this is many months worth of work, so I hope you guys enjoy this. If you do, please like, subscribe, and most importantly comment your own thoughts on these aliens, and rank them however you like, and give the artists some love as well. I'll leave their links in the description and go over them again at the end. With all that said, enjoy. The only banned alien to be actually revealed in the reboot series to be banned, the Fulmini alien form sample, also known as Shock Rock, sends a beacon back to the Fulmini home planet every time Ben transforms into him. Now the Fulminis are not very friendly, and can be super destructive with their electrical powers. On top of this, the alien form destroys and conquers any planet it lands on, making it incredibly dangerous for Ben to transform into him for fear of mass death and destruction. Pretty badass. The original home planet Fulma was destroyed in a battle for energy, and their species now resides on Fulma 2. I guess fool me once, shame on you, Fulma twice. The only other banned alien to show up in the franchise continuity, through the classic episode Camp Fear, is the mycelium transformation known as the Zilch. This disgusting living plant has only one purpose in mind, which is the cancerous spread of its fungi through mushroom spores, as it dominates the Earth and genocides all human life. If this alien not been defeated by Ben and Grandpa, it may have consumed Earth entirely, hence why this alien sample was banned from the Omnitrix database. The Coronalonial sample in the Omnitrix, known as Lefty, is known to have the strongest punch in the entire galaxy. One punch from Lefty would render the victim's existence pummeled, erasing them from the world entirely. Seriously, one punch from Lefty and you're pretty much snapped out of existence. Better hope he misses ya. Gaia, the DNA sample out of Sapien, has such a gargantuan size that it makes Weybig look like Nanomech. Gaia can grow so much to the point of counteracting Earth's gravity from the sun due to its sheer mass. Gaia can grow bigger than the entire solar system and potentially block the sun's rays from reaching our planet, creating a giant eclipse and ending all biological life on Earth. Not to mention crushing Earth between his fingers like it's nothing. Totally crazy. Comparable to Edel or Upchuck on crack cocaine, Snuff Grub, also known as the DNA sample Apollodopteran, has the unending appetite to eat entire planets, solar systems, and galaxies, until he becomes bigger than all of them. He will continue eating and eating, with no limits to his hunger, until he is twice the size of the Milky Way and potentially even bigger. This transformation is terrifying as his hunger knows no bounds, not even human or alien flesh. Probably explains why Snuff Grub was banned from the Omnitrix database. Essen, the DNA sample Essen Blute from the Omnitrix database, is arguably the most consequential alien. Should Ben be foolish enough to transform into her, she is a sentient black hole that devours and spaghettifies everything in her wake in a matter of minutes. Like a black hole, nothing, not even light, can escape her. Imagine how unbelievably out of control this alien would be if given to albedo or even a brainwashed Ben. The Earth would be devoured in literal seconds. This naturally makes Essen far too dangerous to keep on the Omnitrix roster. Better keep that one banned for a long time. Maybe Alien X can have some fun with her later. Forged in the depths of hell, Appolyon, the Perdita Beta sample in the Omnitrix, possesses immense heat and fire abilities, making heat blast supernovas look like ice cubes in comparison. Appolyon could burn the entire planet down with his powers should he get out of control, and believe me, you don't want to see that happen. Forest fires will be just the beginning of this one, not to mention burning of all life on Earth. Any planet unfortunate enough to be touched by Appolyon would probably look like a flaming fireball. There's only one other alien that could potentially defeat him. Predadark, the apparition sample in the Codon stream, may even be tougher than Appolyon, the fire alien, because he has the ability to absorb the heat from absolutely anything. He could absorb flames with just a touch, freeze entire cities to ice in minutes. But more seriously, he could absorb the body heat human beings need to survive, and even absorb the heat from the sun itself and snuff out all heat and light from the solar system. Planets could experience instant ice ages and potentially lead to mass extinction of all living things. Makes Big Chill look like, well, Lil Chill. Not a lot is known about this transformation, but the legend goes he was banned from the Omnitrix because he induces a terrible bloodlust in those who change into him. Terrorasque is a giant werewolf creature who thrives on killing enemies like their prey and brutally destroying their bodies. He's absolutely ruthless and is known to make his enemies suffer long and arduous deaths while he sits back and revels in sadistic pleasure. That's why he's one of the forbidden aliens. But that's absolutely nothing when you compare it to this alien is literally so strong that the mere mention of his name sends shivers down the spines of mere mortals. He is the ultimate predator, the predator of Alien X. Actually, Radscare. Radscare's alien ancestors evolved from a dying timeline, believing strongly in non-existence. In a nutshell, Radscare has the ability to destroy all of life by wiping out existence itself. This makes celestial sapiens like Alien X a natural enemy, because of their aptitude for life and creation. Radscare's hunt for celestial sapiens is the reason they fled to the Forge of Creation, away from his tentacles of doom. Should Radscare get power through Ben's transformation, only God knows how he would eradicate all life and wipe out all existence just for his own cruel, sadistic nature.
Gotta stop that water. Good a time as any to give this one a try.
Appolyon!
Acid.
Gaia!
Lefty. Predadark.
Chakra! Snuff Grub! Terrorasque! The Zilch!
No name, the species Homo dryadalis, who is actually a female alien sample. This alien has the ability to manipulate something as soon as it understands its true name. If it knows Ben's name, it can manipulate his body to doing evil things. If it knows about fire, it can erupt all volcanoes and wildfires on Earth. And if it knows the Earth's name, it can manipulate and destroy all life on Earth. This alien species used to inhabit Ireland until they were wiped out by St. Patrick's centuries ago. Super freaky alien. Thank God no name is banned from the alien playlist. If you've seen my video on unseen non-canon Benton aliens, you already know this one. This one is one of the only ones that was not fan-made, but rather was made by the Benton creators in a non-canon fashion. While he looks like just another Wildvine ripoff, Plantapocalypse's powers are pretty badass. He can devour entire cities, and his growth is based purely on ingesting solid matter.
Some aliens should have never made the Omnitrix.
He has long elastic tentacles that stretch from city to city, and can basically eat entire buildings to get stronger. Next is Slaughterhouse. Such a badass name. A member of the Decagon Blacklight species. Remember the Decagon robots and how hard they were to beat? And remember the Weapon Masters who were even harder to beat? Well, those guys are back with a new prototype for a Decagon bioweapon, which is literally a living virus. These guys can shapeshift into various things, manipulate flesh and blood, and literally end any life they want to in a matter of seconds. Very infectious guys, and unbelievably hard to root out and destroy. They were the first robots merging their advanced robotics with biological warfare. Slaughterhouse can merge technology with organic matter, allowing it to hack or take control of both machines and living beings. They were banned from the Omnitrix for many reasons, so let's hope it stays that way. Cognito Hazard, a Terrorasque, God, these names don't get any easier, is an unstable being from out of the 26th dimension. You know, like the Nalgins from BusyBox. This creature can fade in and out of different dimensions, making it look like a shapeshifter, when in reality it's just moving its giant body across different realities. The shapeshifting element can literally cause humans and other organisms to go insane from confusion, leading ultimately to death from the seizure-inducing movements. Cognito Hazard also leaves echoes of itself in different dimensions it passes through, creating a multi-dimensional presence that confuses its opponents even more. While some individuals with extraordinarily strong mental willpower might be immune or resistant to his confusion-inducing effects, most beings would just go insane from all the dimension hopping. Next is Grunt Double, a Terrafuser, who is not fan-made, but taken from the Fusion Fall video game. The story of Cartoon Network Universe Fusion Fall revolved around an alien invasion of the Cartoon Network universe. CN's most iconic character teamed up to repel Lord Fuse, an intergalactic destroyer, and his army of invaders from planet Fusion, an enormous planet commandeered by Fuse. Grunt Double serves as a smaller but still powerful member of the Terrafuser species, harnessing the ability to fuse matter, have telepathy, healing factor, and basically a hive mind of a whole species. Maybe if Ben masters this one, which is unlikely, he can create a network of telepathy between him and Kevin and Gwen, or even Rook and other teammates. Oh, and I forgot to mention, he can create fusions like Atomics can. Kind of overpowered. Kinda also looks like Plantapocalypse. Imagine those two teamed up, but I think they're both banned, for now. Nuclear Hazard, a Titanus squamata, is basically the Godzilla Kaiju band alien here. A mix of humongous ornithomix, Nuclear Hazard is basically a giant colossal oaf that emits nuclear radiation like the frickin' Hiroshima blast. Any damage Nuclear Hazard sustains could accelerate his regeneration, fueled by nuclear energy. This walking fallout also spontaneously evolves, making it extremely large and unpredictable. Basically just stay away from him if you like staying alive, because this lethal dino freak is no joke. Imagine if Ben turned into this one accidentally and started literally killing off all his friends and people around him just by existing. That's why he was banned from the Omnitrix database. Gumbrawl. Imagine the genus. It is of course a reference to a Dragon Ball character, who is obviously not canon to Ben 10. Rest in peace, Toriyama. The reason Gumbrawl is banned, for his cute demeanor, is that he can possess and control the Omnitrix user, and completely detransform and control their body, Ghost Freak style. You don't just have a pink Ben running around committing crimes, while Ben is probably dormant or even killed inside Gumbrawl's subconscious. If you wanted a Ghost Freak style alien somewhere on this banned alien playlist, you got it, you psychos. Gehenna Major species in the Omnitrix database, Memento Mori, great name by the way, is not actually a scared theater mask when you look at his face. Actually, his eye is the big yellow thing, and he possesses 2 mouths, with 2 tongues sticking out as he feasts on his prey. He has hypnotism abilities, and as soon as his prey sees him, he can hypnotize them into seeing him in the corner of their eye, but always in the peripheral. This can make the victim go insane from not being able to see him properly, and also from, being mind controlled. This means of psychological warfare makes Memento Mori an excellent strategist in battles where fear and confusion are as much weapons as physical strength, although perhaps his hypnotism is less effective or entirely ineffective in direct eye contact, making him avoid confrontations that require facing his adversaries head on, so there is a potential weakness. This does remind me of a TMNT 2012 episode where a guy named Falco did this to a turtle, and Donnie beat him by closing his eyes and doing a ninja sense thing, but that's a story for another day. Still a badass alien that is rightfully banned from the Omnitrix database. Nightgore, a member of the D. Necros species, and this one is absolutely no joke. He was forged out of the darkest corners of the observable universe and evolved into the literal god of death. He would completely embody the darkness of the black void, exuding death and destruction to all he wishes it upon. Nightgore could manipulate the very essence of void and nothingness, absorbing energy and life, leaving behind desolation. He could utterly extinguish life at a molecular level, turning living beings into servants or even dust. Think Emo Alien X. Yeah, how about we don't let Albedo get access to that one? Thanks. Azimuth keeping it banned from Omnitrix is probably for the best. And the most dangerous alien in this banned alien list is MissingNo. The Mandelic Notice sample from Omnitrix is a creature from the same dimension as Radscare, if you'll remember him from part 1 of the series. I can't begin to describe MissingNo. The second one looks away from him, yet forget about his existence. He could also manipulate states of matter, for instance touching a human and turning their body from a solid to a gas instantaneously. Ben could watch Kevin turn from metal to a liquefied version of that, then forget who did it as soon as MissingNo left his plane of vision. Now this one is actually not banned, because no creature, not even Azimuth, was able to spot him long enough to ban the DNA sample. He has evaded every realm he has wreaked havoc in, making him the most dangerous alien here because he still poses a risk to any Omnitrix bearer because of its unbanned nature.
Gotta stop that water. Good a time as any to give this one a try.
Cognito Hazard.
New name.
Grunt Double. Gumbrawl.
Memento Mori.
Slaughterhouse.
Plantapocalypse.
Nightgore.
Nuclear Hazard.
MissingNo.
First up, we got Rocks. Simple enough name, but I would have gone with a double word combination myself. Something like Asphalt Ass Kicker. Oh wait, this was a kid's show, never mind. My first impression of this alien is like the Thing from the Fantastic Four, which along with the Easter Island Rocks from Trade-Off, Snake and I tried to incorporate into this redesign. Rocks has the ability to generate earthquakes, since he's, a rock. Kinda like how Heat Blast can make supernovas since he's made out of fire. I could see Rocks being another Andromeda alien, kinda like a foil to Armadillo. If they were fought inside the Omnitrix, I'd love to see that. Rocks can also resist extreme heat, and oh yeah, he's also really strong. I feel like a natural weakness of Rocks would be water. Not only would he sink and drown due to his massive weight, but water could also erode his body and make him crumble over time. Overall, although he may appear to have a tough exterior and is quick-tempered in battle, Rocks, spelled a little differently in our version, is still very down to earth. Next up is Squidstrictor, who's definitely not Squidward mixed with the worst. Squidstrictor has tentacles, can shoot ink out of them, can camouflage in different environments, and can maneuver in small tight places. He has underwater survivability and mana detection, meaning he can touch a living thing with his tentacles and detect their mana, kinda like one can. I think this alien could have a lot of potential and kinda ride off the coattails of Ripjaw as an amphibian in a way. With his new design, his tentacles are tied up into limbs that he would unravel underwater or in combat like a little Ripjaws with his tail. He can even evolve to have mind control powers to go along with the mana thing, just like amphibian. The bracers on his arms and his shorts hold his tentacles together. The teeth are based on a whale's baleen teeth. Guys, Snake's a genius, isn't he? Obvious weakness of this one is that he can't survive long without water, like our other favorite undersea alien, and his arms may even get tangled in tough scenarios. Enemies could even throw him around with those. I also just thought about this, but what if when he gets sick, the ink goo he can shoot gets into his eyes and he can't see properly, like Wild Mutt? That'd be sick, eh? Portaler originated in an old online game and was given a design by Derek J. White in 2020. He has the power to create portals and go anywhere, and can teleport anyone. Similar to Cannonbolt, he can also roll into a ball with green and red spikes showing. I think a portal alien was severely lacking in Ben 10, but this roly-poly Cannonbolt ripoff shouldn't be the way to go. Maybe a floating Lodestar looking dude with a Gravitac type pole in the stomach would have fit the idea better. That's just my opinion. For the redesign, we didn't want to lean heavily into the 5YL update versions, so Snake just kept the OG smaller shell and gave him a nice slick color palette that looks much more appealing. Imagine this alien could have teleported every bad guy to the Null Void, or if you could have teleported the Nihilarch to another universe before it detonated. Portaler has the same potential as a sick alien. Let's just change the name to Plantaportal and call it a day. Bob the Blob should have a better name, really. I'd go with something simple and quick. Maybe Goop. But hey, just spitballing here. Bob the Blob is listed to only have the ability of sticky skin.
Hurry! Hang on!
He's coming!
I'm almost there.
As an alien expert, let me just throw out 5 new powers this alien could have instantly. The power to be split into 2 different entities and fight, before merging back together to be more powerful. The power to shoot acid, slimes, and gooey substances to subdue enemies. The power to crawl through tight spaces including doors and cracks. The power to communicate with all alien species, no matter the race or planet. The power to morph his body into any shape including new arms, legs, and all sorts of geometric shapes. He could even have 2 distinct personalities with his 2 halves, which is something Snake and me worked on emphasizing with the yin and yang inspired design on this one. Let's just change the name to Blob, to resemble Ditto, Upgrade, and Goop more closely with the one-word name. Boom. Legendary alien. Anti-Gravitesla is an alien unknown by many, but one whose powers could have had great potential if given actual screen time in the show.
Let's give Anti-Gravitesla a try. Some aliens should have never made the Omnitrix.
First off, he needs a new redesign. Get the Steve Harvey looking ass out of here. Do your magic, Snake. Let's lose the facial hair and replace it with some of those electric rods and facial tentacles. If it didn't work for forearms, it won't work for Gravi. Anti-Gravitesla's power roster is similar to Gravitax later on, as he has the ability to affect gravity around him, on objects he holds. This means he could perform telekinesis and fly with little to no effort. This new design also gives him ultimate echo like discs on his body that can help him fly. In addition to these, I would have also added the ability to shoot cosmic rays that make gravity heavier on his enemies, making them collapse to the floor and not be able to jump, or make them so light that they fly away into the atmosphere. Imagine a fight with Vilgax or Egregore where the enemy's legs are literally crushed by the effects of the heavy gravity on them. That would be sick. He just needs a better name now. Something like, oh, I don't know, Gravitac? Now that's a good one. Ultimately, we decided on Graviconnector. Ventriloquist seems like he could have actually had a place in the canon roster. This alien has ventriloquist powers, meaning that he can make his voice appear to come from somewhere else. This typically occurs while a person or dummy moves their lips and imitates another being's voice. His power also works on inanimate objects. Ventriloquist also possesses telepathy, just enough to implant thoughts and words into another's brain. Not sure how these powers could come in handy during a fight, but maybe he could just play with the enemy's mind a little bit and distract them long enough for someone else to deliver a finishing blow. I do like the design Derek J. White did, but we just had to add our own finishing touches on it all. Snake added a lot of his own references and touches to it, so here's the full explanation if you're curious. I think it's a 10x improvement on the original for sure. Plantapocalypse is one of the most interesting non-canon Benton aliens, because while he looks like just another Wildvine ripoff, his powers are pretty badass. He can devour entire cities, and his growth is based purely on ingesting solid matter.
You know, sometimes I really get tired of saving the world.
He has long elastic tentacles that stretch from city to city, as he can basically eat entire buildings to get stronger. For the redesign, we added the flower to the chest to reference his original design. The idea is that the flower goes unbloomed, vines extend from it, and it can consume solid matter to grow larger. When it grows large enough for its surface area to capture enough sunlight, the flower blooms and it can fire a giant solar laser. If I was in charge of the Ben 10 crew, I would have definitely given this alien a mountain-like presence rather than a giant plant. He could still be green, but sort of like that big alien from the widening Gaia in UA, mixed with a hybrid tree monster from Fallout Fails. He could be like a giant way big sized city that Ben's allies could navigate through, as they could devour entire planets on enemy territory. But he'd also need some sort of weakness to go along with that, or else he'd be OP. Let me know in the comments what you'd do for that. Also let me know which of these colors look best in your eyes. I would have loved to see this alien invincible in the real show. Created by a legend, Matthias Vadnai, the winner of the Ben 10 Alien Force Strong competition from Hungary, Invincible can transform into different objects, such as a shield or a cannon. He can attack by turning his body into a cannon and shooting laser beams, bullets, or flaming fireballs. Invincible is also immune to lasers. Lots of damn potential with this alien. I see this alien being sort of like a more OP upgrade, who can turn himself into different machines to be Kevin or Rook's laser beam in a fight. He could even become an Alien X or Atomic type alien, where they make him much more powerful and allow him to truly be invincible and annihilate entire cities with his laser abilities and increase durability. For the redesign, Stink worked on adding the vector design in the style of old video game polygons. Inspirations from the Spot from Spider-Verse and the Constellation monsters from Sinbad. Definitely the most experimental design so far, so let us know how it came out. Next up, Shadow Man was created by Viktor Zabinski, the winner of the Ben 10 Alien Force drawing competition of Poland. This one appears to be a mix of Upgrade, Goop, and Chameleon. Shadow Man can blend into darkness and be absolutely invisible in any shadow. For the redesign of this one, it was tough not to make it too similar to Upgrade. What would be useful for someone who uses the shadows? A big projector to cast them. Much like Shikamaru, you can cast shadows with a physical mass that can wrap people up and attack them. The shadows would also have a limit that he can extend with his projector by casting bigger shadows. This alien could be insanely useful in stealth scenarios, and could even be cooler than Chameleon. He could probably have the weakness of sunlight, kinda like Ghost Freak did. I present to you, not Shadow Man, but Shadow Caster. Last up, we got Strachilio, who was created by Patrick Nandor Zahul, winner of the Alien Force Strong competition from Romania. This alien is basically a Stretch Armstrong type thing that can snake around enemies and constrain them. Snarrow and Goop type idea, which I find kinda cool. Might have been nice to have this alien when Ben was fighting Albedo to constrain him from transforming, etc. For the redesign, we went for a more Predator vibe, especially with the dreads. Basing the pose off of Mr. Fantastic style, the body was kept simple to bring out the more complex face of this one. His dreads here are prehensile and can stretch like Mr. Fantastic, maybe even weak to the cold. Totally wish we could have seen this one in the real show at some point.
Gotta stop that water. Good a time as any to give this one a try.
Anti-gravity slug. Invincible. Plantapocalypse. Blah blah blah. Portala. Rocks.
Shadow Man.
Squidstrictor. Strachilio. Ventriloquist.
First off, we got Moyo. Nice name actually. Named after the creator from South Africa in the Cartoon Network Animation Generation 2014, Moyo was an alien native to the planet of Mars from our very own solar system. He has the ability to camouflage to his environment, which is why the design is mostly red. He can also swim very fast for some reason. His gills act similar to a water jetpack, where he can inhale water and shoot it out of his gills at full force to gain tremendous speed. It's as if Jury Rig and Chameleon had a monstrosity baby. This one almost made it to Omniverse. Kinda wish it did now that I look back at it. The cables on Bungee Sponge's back can act as slingshots, especially when he runs back and stretches himself to the max. This alien, like Crash Hopper, can therefore trek large distances with just a slingshot. Like Goop, his stretchy body can also make him basically have no fall damage, and he can regenerate limbs like Swampfire. He can also absorb fluids, SpongeBob style, and release all the liquid as a giant excess full-force punch, like some Gear 3 Luffy shit. Bungee Sponge can also turn the liquids into gases. I would have loved to see this one in the show, but alas, creative differences didn't allow it. Still, looks pretty neat. The Vreedle alien sample in the Omnitrix is depicted under the name Decagon Vreedle. Basically, he acts like a Vreedle does. Like Octagon and Rhomboid, Decagon has the appetite to destroy stuff, blow stuff up, and be incredibly stupid. Also, basically immortal from cloning. For the additions to this one, we decided to give him two devices to aid his explosive expertise. The Chemo Glove, inspired by Dr. Robotic's glove from Sonic movie, and the Deca Tank, inspired by Honey Lemon's bag from Big Hero 6. With these two weapons, all Decagon has to do to explode something is make a couple hand signs, with each sign representing a particular element. The gloves send that data to the tank, and the tank turns it into a bomb that could detonate when need be. Not that his business is any of your business. Created by Derek J. Wyatt in 2020, the Transformer alien takes most of his inspiration from Optimus Prime, especially with the name and the design, but there are a few things this alien has going for it. During a chase, he can transform into a car version of himself, looking similar to Upgrade's version of Kevin's car in Omniverse. This could come in handy during situations where Kevin or Rook's cars aren't readily available. On top of that, the main form Decimus Prime takes is pretty badass in his own respect. He's huge, has built-in weaponry, they probably have jetpacks, etc, etc. Imagine him fighting a Tyrannopede and he shifts all the parts of his body towards one giant fist and goes all Generator X on the dude. He can even split his body into smaller parts, or even have some sort of nanite thing without having the whole nanite shebang. A lot of potential with this baby. Basically an alien penguin, Alien Z is an excellent swimmer and can reach fast swimming speeds. He can launch himself onto land like a torpedo and slide on his belly, and even has laser sharp knives on the edges of his fins. Apparently had Alien Z made it into the show, it would have been voiced by John Lovitz. Probably not worthy of such a badass name though. Finally, an alien with some surprisingly interesting powers. Snark Tanque has a very specific form of ESP and empathic powers. With these mental powers, he's able to pinpoint his opponent's biggest insecurities and physical flaws and use them to his advantage. Once a weakness has been detected, Snark Tanque can craft such an amazing put-down that his words inflict psychic damage on his foe. He doesn't need to be constantly submerged in his water tank because similar to Ripjaw's, he is an aquatic alien. If taken out of it, he would pretty much just waddle around, completely helpless. We didn't really add anything new to this one, except for the idea that maybe his tank could have a cloak system which helps him due to his weaknesses. Think of it as something like that one Batman Beyond and Joker scene. It would really help him if his opponents couldn't see him while he's using his abilities. Based on the design of an Undertown smoothie vendor, Squirtapillar has a pretty unique ability that allows him to take different substances, organic and inorganic, and turn them into a compound with the viscosity of a basic smoothie. He can even perform this task on gelatinous lifeforms such as galvanic mechamorphs like Upgrade, polymorphs like Goop, and the Linopen species. These slimes could be spit out to subdue enemies, or even just to create an appetizing smoothie for Ben's thirst. If you extrapolate the powers here, easily have Squirtapillar create different swords and weapons that harden after he excretes them. He could use his spit as sort of a web, like Stingfly did in the Kraken episode. He could even use it to make spider web-like structures to catch prey. Just a few of my ideas. This was definitely the precursor to Lodestar and Gravitack, because Hippopotamus, great name by the way, can alter the density of objects using yellow energy that he projects from his hands. Basically, he can make objects or even himself light enough to float. Past that, he could smush things into oblivion or into smaller volumes to increase density. He could obviously fly himself, but due to his hippo size, could hit the ground running with tremendous force. Apparently, out of all the post-run aliens drawn by Thomas Perkins, Hippopotamus was Derek G. Wyatt's favorite. Gotta agree with him, huge potential here. Massacre could also be a great replacement name. Let me know in the comments if that's a better pick. Yet another speed alien, this mechanical centaur is similar to Accelerate and Fast Track, but performs his speed a little differently. He can run tremendously fast using the wheels on his feet, and is physically stronger as well in terms of bulk. While I'd usually be pissed to see another speed alien, he is literally 10 times better than Fast Track in every way, so you can't really hate on it. He kinda reminds me of 6'6 or 7'7, and could ride out their powers with the laser guns in Assassin 5. He can reshape the muscle-like fibers that look like tires on his feet, and make them adjust depending on whatever type of terrain he's on. The muscles would act similarly to that of an octopus, but even stronger and more intelligent. He's just about the same speed as Accelerate, but can go even faster by adjusting his wheels to reduce friction. So much cool stuff with skid marks. Somnam Blizzard, absolutely garbage name, has mind control abilities, in a way slightly different from the existing ones, such as Vampire or Pesky Dust. Sami is able to mind control people within his line of sight, within a limited area. His sensory organs help him synchronize with the nervous system of the people he mesmerizes. Yeah, big words for mind control. Oh, and he can regenerate his limbs if they're cut off, because, you know, lizard. The bigger problem with this one is the name. Why don't we change it to Hypnogecko, Neuroscaler, Lizard Mind? Tell me in the comments what you name him. Mealy-Mouth is a tall, thin, white-skinned alien who can control people's minds with his voice. Each mouth has a different tone or pitch of voice, and they can all talk at once. He's also a great liar. Gotta say, I love the existing art for this one. Totally looks like a villain out of the original series, or the Circus Freak Trio or something. How about we give him some rules so it doesn't get too out of hand? 1. If he gives a command with just one mouth, it'll only work with a small number of people. 2. If he gives the same command with all of his mouths, it'll work for a large number of people, and will also make his voice louder within that moment. And 3, and this one's kinda wild, if he gives multiple commands at the same time with all of his mouths, he could mentally shatter or damage his enemy. Mealy-Mouth is a personal favorite, plenty of potential. Whoa, what the hell is that design? RYNO can make it better. While he does that, let's go over Cryptastic's powers. Ooh, hold on. Shell shock. Alright, next. This alien possesses immense strength and has claws that could tear through anything. Past being another Brainstorm ripoff, Cryptastic has 360-degree vision, can breathe underwater, and can fasten onto and climb vertical surfaces. The 360-degree vision is a huge perk for this one, as I'm pretty sure no other alien can do that aside from maybe Vreedle. In addition to this, I'd give him extreme terrain and temperature resistance, along with adaptive camouflage. He also has adaptive biology, being able to alter his body and copy traits of other crabs to adapt to situations. He could have many forms, like Yeti mode, spider mode, etc. Just some ideas.
Gotta stop that water. Good a time as any to give this one a try.
Alien Z.
Bungee Sponge. Crabtastic. Decagon Vreedle. Decimus Prime.
Skid marks.
Moyo. Mealy Mouth. Snark Tanque. Somnambul Lizard.
Squidstrictor. Hippopotamus.
Fungi. He reminds me of Guy with the name, and Wildvine in the fact that he's just a mushroom plant humanoid with a really cool design. He also comes from Wildvine's home planet. Fungi is able to produce incapacitating laughing gas from the pores on his arm, kinda like gut rot, but only laughing gas, and in a more natural sense. The spores would affect different species differently, but could never be lethal. I like this one. A change of pace from the usual violent aliens, this one could make Kevin or Gwen laugh too, and could be Ben's chance at trolling people mid-fight. Imagine if Albedo just broke out laughing like Ben just dropped a boogie bomb of laughter on his head. Fungi is a fun guy, who's a really fun guy. Mungosaur, oh wait no, Terrorsaur is a giant-ass pterodactyl who can fly around and produce terrifying psychic hallucinations using the 1,000 scary eyes he's got. He's also native to the Endor system of planets, that's Ghost Freak's domain, and he can likewise to them see in the dark. I see this one having tremendous potential. He could be something like a mix of Vampire and Ghost Freak in the Prime continuity, but it could also belong in the list of non-canon banned aliens I've looked at before, in terms of going berserk and becoming a giant demon-like monster who could hallucinate everybody. Being a bird, I could even see him duplicating himself and joining a horde of space demons. The name could use some work though. Might I suggest Voidwing, Breachgeist, Vectori, Vampire? Brain Drain. Reminds me of Baxter Stockman in that one TMNT 2003 episode. He's a slender, zombie-like alien who can absorb the life energy of people and turn them into zombified minions to his hive mind. He can't do this to action neurites like Ghost Freak because they aren't alive in the conventional sense, only flesh and blood being. Speaking of Ghost Freak, Brain Drain is also another Endor alien. He can see in the dark. Oh, and he can be scared by Topic too, in case you were wondering. I feel like the problem with this one is his physical weakness. Bro is literally just a skeleton. If enemies act quick, they could probably just bash him in the head like Plants vs. Zombies. Gurge. Jesus, what the hell is that? This one is capable of inducing weapons-grade nausea into enemies. A nausea and vertigo feeling so strong that it makes its victims collapse in a heap and have to vent the illness from all their orifices with horrendous force. What the hell is going on with this one? I guess the name is taken from regurgitate, but let's get back to those powers. He can make victims sick and nauseous to the point of collapsing suddenly, and then they vent their illness from their orifices? So what, they got vomit coming out of their eyeballs? With horrendous force? Transmuter. This one looks cool. This one has the powers of alchemic control, meaning he can literally transmutate things and perform elemental conversion. He could turn water into steam, could turn the ground into spikes, the air into poison gas. He could create food or water in survival situations like in Alone Together, and could literally turn the very air into a shield during a battle. I think this one will need some serious nerfing if it's going to go into Ben's real roster, as this sounds too overpowered to be true. Can you think of any other applications for this kind of alien? Warp is a snake-like alien with 2 knife arms and Vilgax-like tentacle hair. This sucker's got the ability to create portals that allow him to travel through space and time. He's basically got Jet Ray's hypersonic space travel and Clockwork's time travel, all with the convenience of a slithery Professor Paradox-type portal. Wouldn't it be funny though if he moved so slow like a snail that he couldn't even go through the portal in time? Kringl the Summoner. What the hell? This is a non-canon Benton alien? A little late for Christmas there, but let's take a look at it regardless. This one's powers are a bit more simple than some other OP ones on this list, but Kringl can summon these elf energy constructs to fight for him. They're not real, but they can do some damage. You know what it reminds me of? That skeleton witch troop from Clash of Clans. The main one can deal damage in the long term when those energy constructs can distract the enemy or deal with large armies coming their way. Also a nice festive alien to pop out every Christmas special. Jak the Freeze. Another winter-themed alien. This one looks really cool in my opinion. Jak can stop time in his near proximity, or even stop specific targets in time and kick the crap out of them when they're immobile. It may even be a better concept if the frozen victim can still see and experience everything but just can't move or speak. That's another debate. Jak can skate around floors as if he were on ice, and is generally another time-stopping alien with a twist. This one would come in handy for a lot of interesting purposes in Ben's roster. Lurk, another Inner System alien. This one is a weird looking wall crawler for sure. He can see in the dark, and his main ability comes in manipulating shadows and being able to hide and travel invisibly through them. Get it? That's why his name is Lurk, because he lurks in the shadows. Kinda reminds me of that fan-made Shadow Man, which we took a look at in part 1 of this series, and he has the same ethos about him. A mix of that and maybe Chameleon. This one could be like Wildmutt in that he can't talk, but would be great alien for stealth and even sniffing out prey. If I were to add to this, maybe I'd add something about him excreting some kind of saliva that covers whatever it touches in a dark shadow until Ben transforms back to human. That could make him a bit more offensive in battle. Lagoon. Not like Goo Lagoon, but like a French play on words, is an epic one. This one is like a SpongeBob background character mixed with Katara from Avatar. He can survive on both land and water, and get this, he's basically a waterbender. He can control water and use it to create anything he wants. Like other Inner System aliens mentioned here, he can also see in the dark, making him super useful in any undersea venture, even deep sea. But just think about it. Ben's trapped in jail in some cave, and this guy could use the water in a little puddle to break out of his chains. Totally awesome. Skele-TON. This one's awesome. He's a giant skeleton surrounded by a slimy substance all around his body. The slime is held together by an anti-gravity projector somewhat similar to Goop, which stands in the center of his chest under the Omnitrix. Without that, the slime would fall and nothing would hold his bones together. He has the ability to control the molecular density of the people or objects around him, and that includes turning the ooze on him into a rock-hard armor. He can see in the dark, and can beat the crap out of pretty much all his enemies, because he can freaking molecularly scatter his enemies, like what happened to Donnie in TMNT 2012. If that doesn't work, he's still a 10-foot monster who can step on his foes and crush them. Last but certainly not least, we got Soulcatcher. This guy's name is badass, and basically describes what he can do. Soulcatcher can temporarily capture the memories and life force of his opponent, storing them in his power nodes on the shoulders. His enemies' memories could give him clues as to their fighting style or their secrets, and their life juice gives him strength and durability to attack them with super quick punch combos he throws with his arms. Two things with this one. If there's too much positive emotion in the opponent, he becomes weakened, which is why he uses their memories first against them to turn them angry and weak. Second, if he gets his power nodes punched, shot, or hit any way, it could lead to a massive explosion, or at a minimum, significant decrease in his ability to fight or even see around him. They are his greatest strength and his greatest weak spot. Still a brutal one that you don't want to mess with if Ben gets hold of him in the Omnitrix roster.
Gotta stop that water. Good a time as any to give this one a try.
Fun guy.
Jak the Freeze.
Soulcatcher.
Ho ho ho, Kringl the Summoner.
Terrorasque.
Skele-TON.
Lurk.
Lagoon.
Transmuter.
Thanks for watching, everybody. That's it. That's Banned Aliens Parts 1 and 2, Unseen Aliens Parts 1 and 2, and Part 3 with Ben 10,000's roster. Huge shoutouts to the artists who poured their hearts out for this endeavor. First off to Appolyon Clips on TikTok for creating the Banned Aliens playlist. For Part 1, we redesigned them with WHITESNAKESHINOBI, but I didn't redesign them for Part 2 and just stuck with Appolyon Clips design. Shoutout as well to GREYMATTERFANBOY and WOBBLEY for the inspiration in that end. For Unseen 1, WHITESNAKESHINOBI helped out once again, with my good friend RYNO helping out for part 2. Part 3 I just went with the original designs. You can see every roster on screen now, and all the different aliens and designs we went through. It was definitely a lot of fun. Go follow these talented artists and show them some love. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please subscribe to my channel with the bell, it would be so great. And like the video to help me in the algorithm. Also, comment your thoughts on these aliens. Feel free to rank them as well, and I may pin my favorites. You can follow all my socials in the comments below, and I'll see you beautiful lizards and jellyfish in the next one.